All right, we're live. We're back. What's up, party people? My name is Sunny Ray. This is the Sunny Ray Show. Second guest of the day. I have an interesting gentleman who was on Spark Tank earlier this week. His name is Daryl Young. He's the founder and CEO of a company called Carmec. Quite an interesting idea. So, gift stocks, not stuff. That's the title of the interview, and he had this idea while essentially he was getting his wedding registry done, and he thought to himself, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you could gift stocks instead of stuff? Part of his thesis is that AI in investing will lead to uniform returns for nearly everyone. So I'm going to bring on Daryl. Hey, Daryl, how's it going?
Excellent. Thanks, Sonny, for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you here. So I guess just to dive into the deep end, what is Carmack? What are you building? Maybe share a little bit of the story behind it, but we'll keep it short for now. But promise we'll kind of go deeper into it in a few minutes near the end of the interview as well.
Yeah, super. So Carmec is a broker-dealer investing platform that allows people to easily send stocks as gifts, like as easy as sending an online gift certificate. Now, the story that you mentioned a moment ago of how the idea hit me. So picture me 15 years ago here in San Francisco where I live, and I'm walking around downtown getting my wedding registry together about 6 months before I'm about to get married. And I'm zapping Chinaware, linens, toaster ovens, and I'm thinking to myself, gosh, I don't want any of this traditional stuff. Why can't I walk into a broker dealer and just register for stocks and have our wedding guests buy us that? Now, you can see that my mindset at the time was to receive stocks as gifts, right? Because it was for my wedding registry. That was the idea. 15 years later, I'm still married to that same lovely woman. We have a child. And I now see myself as a giver of gifts. So my mindset in that regard has shifted, but the concept is still what I mentioned.
Interesting. You survived an incoming missile alert in Hawaii. What's that about?
So we were on vacation in Honolulu, my wife and our son at the time. He was maybe like 2 or 3. And we're at a coffee shop a couple blocks from the hotel. Phones just start blowing up. And then, so of course, I look at the phone and it says incoming missile alert. And you can see just looking around the coffee shop that everybody got the same message. And there was just eerie silence. There was no chaos. People didn't get up, start running out the door. It was more like a, damn, if this is real, we have like 10 minutes to live. Of course, it was proven to be a mistake, but it actually happened. I kept all the screenshots. And so I was like, wow, it was one of those moments where people did not react the way that I thought that they would, myself included.
Yeah, that's it's a pretty scary one, especially given all the crazy stuff going on in the world. So Daryl, take me back, man. What was young Daryl like before finance ever crossed your mind?
Well, I'm going to come clean and just tell you I was about as average as you can be in every possible respect. I mean, I did not stand out academically, athletically. My one main activity growing up was scouting. I made it all the way to Eagle Scout. Proud of that very much. And my son is actually a scout now. Hope to see him climb the same trail to reach Eagle. But if I'm being honest, I really about as average as you can possibly be.
You say you stumbled into an accounting class at UCSB. So what hooked you?
I think I somehow felt this pull toward finance, accounting. When people ask me what's accounting, I say it's the language of business. So it's a great place to start. Now, funny thing with AI being what it is these days, I would never tell my kid to study accounting. But just looking at my own personal history, it was a great way to kick off my career. Like I said, I kind of fell into it, really liked it. Wouldn't go as far as to say I was great at it, but I did like the background that it gave me. It led me to my first real job and on from there.
So you minored in Mandarin? Is that right?
I always wanted to have that because I really thought it was going to help me business wise.
Okay.
Um, ethnically, I'm also Chinese, although I never learned Mandarin growing up. So I just wanted to have that sort of cultural connection, but really, I thought it was going to help me business wise.
Did it?
No, or at least not yet. It might help me if I move to Singapore someday, or if I maybe move to Shanghai, but so far, not so much.
So the CPA you mentioned, and the CFP, right? So why stack the hard, credentials instead of just trading?
I really thought that the credentials added something to my repertoire. It made me more credible to clients. And I do think that in any industry, you should pay your dues. You should show that you are a student for life and that learning never stops. And so for me, those professional designations were just an indicator of that.
Makes sense. And then you worked at the big firms, right, before going solo. So what did they teach you, and what did they get wrong?
Well, they taught me how business works. And I can say that looking back, because I don't think I was there at the time. I started my first job at 22. And looking back, I mean, how little I knew. But I think that it gave me at least that foundation. And working with a big firm is really great because it exposes you to a lot. Bigger clients, bigger job engagements, swimming in the ocean, as the cliche goes, working with the partners of the firm and the senior managers is really great experience insofar as just understanding people and how work gets done.
Interesting. And when did you first see kind of like the wealth gap up close?
Well, I feel it in my everyday life because I myself am very squarely in the middle class. And I think that looking at what I call the wealth gap, this idea that the top 1% now owns more wealth than the entire middle class, which is a problem, if you think of it as a problem, that's been building for decades, but here we are. And I think that it is to the detriment of the middle class, which continues to get squeezed. And I realize that oftentimes the 1%, they're the people that we idolize, right? Like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Jensen Huang. I mean, people that have made incredible achievements and contributions. And we all want to live in a meritocracy. I believe in that very much. I believe in capitalism. But then I think to myself, when it gets to these levels, where the 1% has this much control, it's a problem because of for one thing, its pull on politics. I mean, think of how much anger Doge caused. And I think that it's really, in large part, to the detriment of the middle class.
Interesting. So I guess let's switch gears a little bit. Yeah, I want to get to like the aha moment around what you're building now. So like the wedding registry story. Can you walk me through kind of like that exact moment that it all clicked?
I was literally following around my fiance at the time, as I mentioned in my earlier story, just clicking on stuff for our wedding registry. I was like, I don't want any of this stuff. I don't want linens. I don't want cookware. I just thought to myself, gosh, there's got to be a much more durable, lasting gift. At the time, again, I looked at it as a receiver of gifts, but now I think of it as a giver of gifts. And the funny thing is growing up as a kid, all the little things that your parents taught you, like it's better to give than to receive. And of course, as a kid, I never believed that, right? But now, as a 50-something-year-old person, married with a kid, I can say wholeheartedly, it is so much better to give than to receive.
Hmm. And so you essentially wanted to give stocks and not linens. Can you talk about like why did that feel so obvious to you and crazy, I guess, to everyone else?
I wouldn't say that it's crazy to everyone else. Yahoo Ipsos did a survey maybe several years ago, and they came to the conclusion that about 2/3 of Americans would love to receive stocks as gifts. But I do think that some of the other stats also continue to hold. The fact that the stock market is foreign to about 50% of Americans who don't have any exposure to it. And so this idea that it's for the rich, or it's not a world that you understand, or I wouldn't even know what to pick, that sort of thing, is what I think holds people back.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's probably my experience as well. Most people don't want to even dabble in it. So, the regulators, they made you build most of it before they even, would even watch a demo. So I guess what was that like?
Man, that was painful. So picture this, okay? You want to erect a skyscraper. And so you have all your blueprints. You go to the approval commission and you're like, hey, this is what I want to build. And then the commission says, just go ahead and build it. And then when it's ready, we'll come and inspect it. And I was like, but what if you don't like what you see and I don't get the ultimate approval? And the answer was, well, that's just how the process works. So literally, there I am trying to build a demo, going through this 30-month approval process to get the approval that I needed to operate as an investing platform with a particular focus on stocks as gifts. I also had to get a one-of-a-kind legal opinion from a top-tier firm, such that FINRA and the SEC would ultimately give me that approval. So that all took, like 30 months or so. All the while I'm thinking to myself, what if they don't approve it? Like I showed them the blueprints, like I said in my metaphor, but that was not enough. They needed to see more. And so I find myself making this huge investment in something that don't know if I'll ever be able to even operate.
Yeah, you barreled ahead.
I did. And, as so many founders of startups do, right? I mean, when you wake up in the morning energized because you have this vision, nothing's going to get in your way. Now, in my particular case, that meant time, money, resources, right? Pulling together a team. And luckily, we're all still together. We believe in this vision. But yeah, you got a lot of proving to do before you could even get your product to market. And the funny thing is, you get one shot at this. You get one at bat, so to speak, to use a baseball metaphor. Like if I went to you, Sonny, as an investor, and I said, hey, would you like to invest in Carmack? You might say, it's a great idea, Daryl, but I'll pass this time. So then I move on to another investor, right? Like you're not the only investor in the world. Respectfully, I'm saying that. You go to the regulator says no, that's it. You don't go on to the next regulator. Well, I'll just get a second opinion. I'm like, no, if they say no, no means no.
Must have taken a lot of courage to face those kind of seemingly unsurmountable odds and barreling through it anyway.
Maybe I was naive. I just didn't know what I didn't know, right?
Yeah. That seems to be part of the secret sauce. So when did the wealth gap go from a fact you knew to essentially the mission that you chose?
I think that and this is coming from somebody who's been in the accounting and finance world for, decades. I place myself squarely in the middle class. So I feel it all the time. But I think it really crystallized for me when I saw the anger that Doge was causing. Now, I understood the meaning behind it, and I understood why it was supposed to help. But ultimately, I think what it did is it just destroyed a bunch of lives and made things tougher for average Americans. And it really showed me the kind of political power that very rich people have.
Interesting. That's
and I don't even think that that's unique to the US, let me say. I think that other countries have this similar issues.
Sorry, I've been in yeah, no, I'm just like Doge is always like this little cute little dog that I've always thought about. Now, obviously, what you're talking about is something totally different, which I get, but it's just
Department of Government Efficiency. Let me make it clear.
Yeah, I know exactly. So, so in terms of I mean, that must have been tough. Like just to be able to, like, you have to come up with a demo that essentially like produces, or it's like, oh my goodness, that must have been such a tough one. So
it's different. It's a different journey, right? Because No disrespect to any startup founders whatsoever, but it's not like building a dating app. It's not like it's an unregulated area or an app for dog walkers or whatever. Again, no disrespect to anybody's business. It's more just like you wake up one morning, if you said to yourself, like, I think I'll build a hospital today. Yeah, I think I'll build a hospital today. It doesn't just happen, right? You need all kinds of resources. And in my particular case, I needed institutions far larger than me to want to support me.
Right, right. So for someone hearing it for the first time, like what is Carmec in one breath? Can you kind of go deeper into it now and just explain how it all works?
Yeah, we make it easy for people to send or receive stocks as gifts. Make it as easy as sending a gift card. So in one sentence, that's what it is. It's a broker-dealer investing platform, like I said, with a very special approval to operate in this way. And what we want to do is occupy our little corner of the so-called great wealth transfer. Excuse me.
You okay there, bud? Yeah, let me take a sip. So you call it FinTeach, not FinTech. What's the difference and why does it matter?
Well, excuse me. Part of it has to do with how we think of. Oh man.
Take a second, Daryl. It's okay.
Yeah. Part of it has to do with how there's a shortage of financial literacy. The fact that it's only taught in about 30 states. And we come at it from the standpoint that the best way to get people, especially youngsters, interested in financial literacy is with real money. And so when we think about what fintech companies are, we realize that, if you just insert this A in there, it becomes FinTeach, which we thought was kind of cheeky, kind of fun.
Okay. So you also once said that gamification does not build real skills, and now you have challenges and leaderboards. So like, what changed, I guess, in between?
Well, I still believe in that statement. So oftentimes I use this example. My kid plays Mario Kart on Nintendo. He doesn't think that he can actually drive a real car. He knows that, but that doesn't mean that the game isn't fun. So I think, and whether you're playing, online football, soccer, whatever, that doesn't mean that you can really kick a ball or throw a touchdown. So I think that kids know that. Now, the difference is with our system, what really started out is the whole gift registry concept. We want people to be able to create wish lists of the stocks that they'd like to own someday. And to be able to share that wish list with the people that love them, care about their future, right? So imagine you're a teenager, you create your wish list of stocks, send it out to all your aunts and uncles. Maybe when birthday comes around, graduation, holiday season, what have you, maybe they react accordingly. But that wish list represents a mock portfolio of sorts. And so what we realized is that we could go into a school, get a bunch of students to create these wish lists, and then turn that into a contest and say, well, who's making the best picks here? And to translate that daily performance in real time in a leaderboard. But it's all based upon real stocks, real picks. So that's the difference. It's not gamified in the sense of a fake environment with fake companies and all that. I mean, your aunts and uncles can buy you these stocks as gifts, whether or not you are on top of the leaderboard or not.
So you're putting AI in front of students learning to invest, right? So I guess where's the line between helpful and a crutch?
That's a tough one because earlier in this session, you mentioned, I think we're all going to have the same return someday, right? And so let me start with that. Sonny, if you and I both got into an autonomous vehicle, separate autonomous vehicles, and we're going from A to B, okay, who's going to get there first? We'll get there at the same time, right? Because the autonomous vehicles will optimize their route and we will just get there at the same time. It's not really a race. So now take that and apply it to investment markets. Put 2,000 geniuses in a room and say, okay, AI geniuses, optimize people's financial returns, rates of return on investments. And what they'll do exactly that. They'll say, okay, for X amount of risk, you get X amount of return, right? And you say, okay. And if you go with the assumption that no genius is smarter than any other genius, you just gather them all in a room and give them all the same problem, it's going to end up like autonomous vehicles. We will get there at the same time, which means that we'll all get the same returns.
Interesting.
So now tying that back to how does that relate to investing, and is it a danger of sorts to offload that burden, the learning and the understanding to students? I would say, well, the first thing that I tell students, even before they pick up an investment book, is I say, first understand economics. Best definition I've ever heard in my life: study of scarce resources. That's what economics is. And the reason why that's so meaningful is because if you really think about it.
Daryl, sorry to interrupt. You can keep talking actually, because we have quite a few people watching, but I gotta go do something right now and just like open a door. My wife.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No worries. So economics, study of scarce resources. And the reason why that's so meaningful is because, again, with students, and it doesn't apply to just money, it applies to anything, right? The idea that things are scarce and there's not enough for everybody. If everything was abundant, there'd be no need to economize. And so think of it that way first before you start looking at investments, because supply demand governs the price of nearly everything. Why is Micron stock price so high now? SanDisk. Why is NVIDIA where it is? It's because these things are scarce and people want the building blocks for data centers right now. Now, that'll change at some point, but the idea that students should understand those concepts before they start investing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So if AI really does flatten returns for everyone, then what's left to compete on?
I don't know. I mean, we're not quite there yet. But I think what's going to end up happening is that people will, I hope, lead better lives just because they'll have more time to do the things that matter to them. Now, of course, just like autonomous vehicles, not everybody's going to take them, right? Some people are going to ride motorcycles. Some people are going to just continue to bike or just want to walk. And so this idea that 80% of people will take the AI-driven investment returns, I go, that's fine. You'll get a competitive return. You're not going to beat your neighbor necessarily, but it wasn't about that anymore. Now it's about you get a competitive return, no better, no worse than the guy next to you, and you can go have time to go take your kid to soccer. What's wrong with that?
So yeah, not a whole lot. Can you play it out for me though? Like if alpha goes to 0, does the asset you hold matter more or less?
I suppose it matters less, because I don't think that people really think about investing as, especially when it's, I'll call it passive investing. It's not really something that's tangible to you. You don't really need to work on it day in and day out. It's just working for you day and night. So I don't think that the asset itself has that much value to you. It's really just what it's producing for you.
Okay, well, I mean, this is fascinating. I think this is awesome, by the way. I mean, what a beautiful idea, right? Like gift a freaking asset, right? Instead of like gifting.
Well, the funny thing is, I mean, I don't know if people ever ask about the name, right? So Carmack is the intersection of karma and equity. And I've often said to people, I go, look, you know, your deeds determine your future. That's karma, right? And equity, as we all know, has at least 2 meanings. One is ownership, but the other one is fairness.
I didn't pick that up. I'm glad you highlighted that. That's beautiful. I love it. So help me land the plane, Daryl. 5 years out, what does winning look like for Carmack and for the gap that you're closing?
Winning to me is that millions of people use it, love it, and think of it as a wealth transfer, wealth building tool for the next generation. And along with that, the financial literacy that comes with just getting excited about having a seat at the table, having some equity. Now, don't tell investors that I said this, but if dear old Daryl just has an average life, drives a used car like I have now, but millions of people use it and love it, I'm good with that. Don't tell investors I said that though.
All right, cool. Sure. All right, Daryl, it's a fun one. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming on the show today. Thank you for being such a great sport on Tuesday and coming on the Spark Tank. Yeah, your energy's your enthusiasm is quite infectious. I like it, and I also love the idea. I think what you're doing is big, and what a moat, right? I mean, what did you say? A year and a
30
half?
months to get that approval, plus the one of a kind legal opinion.
Oh man, I can appreciate that. So thank you so much. Anything else you want to share? Is it LinkedIn where people get connected to you? Is that what you prefer, or where else are you? Twitter?
I'm not on Twitter. My co-founder is, but yeah, LinkedIn is the best way. Sonny, the pleasure's all mine. Really honored to be here.
Yeah, great name as well, Carmack. All right, cool. I'm gonna bring this one to a close. Thank you all for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And with that said, hang back, Daryl, for 1 minute. I'm gonna bring this to an end.